Today, I want to just introduce myself. My name is Mike Pickford. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I draw comics. Been doing it since probably 2001, but I started drawing them again in like the late 90s, late 90s. I don't want to tell you how old I am, but I started doing them around the Jim Lee era, whenever a lot of that stuff was blowing up about Image. Everybody started kind of like getting big into Image and everything, so I was kind of like an Image fan, Image Marvel. But I'm also big fan of movies. I love movies, and that's what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to introduce myself and let you know that I draw for a magazine here in Wilmington. It's of course I'm a surfer, and I draw for a surf magazine. I draw a comic strip called Life's All Hours, which you may have seen some of my stuff before if you live in Wilmington. But this is the book I draw for. Every 2 months, it's a bi-monthly magazine. Check it out if you're ever down here. Also, what I did after drawing for these people for like since 2006, a guy named Chris McQuiston hired me on. I now have put him into a book called Life's All Hours, and it's comic strips by Mike Pickford. You can order it online at Indie Planet. Alright, but I'm also working on another project that should be out in February. It's going to be pretty different. It's not like a comic strip. It's because that's like a collected comic volume. It's not a sequential story. I'll be working on a sequential story probably for. It should be out by February. If it's not, it'll be later. I have a busy life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I like being busy. But anyway, I'm going to probably do maybe some time lapse, maybe some instructional a little bit here and there about how to draw comics, how to get the concept of what you want to get through in your strips and in your stories. And I'm not no expert, but over the few years I've learned certain things get certain emotional effects off the images. So I will try to convey what I've learned, best of my ability. And if you catch me repeating myself or sounding like a broken record, just let me know. And if you don't know what a record is, you're probably not of my era, because they don't even have records now that I'm aware of, unless you're digging through some vintage stores or something. But yeah, I was really caught in big on comics when I was in my 20s, and I went on a few tangents. I've drawn a cartoony type style. I've drawn manga style. Everybody wants to get into style. Well, style is nothing more than just modification of technique. You can change the lines to a certain way to make it look more cartoony, or change it to, how much dark you want to put in it makes it look more gritty, and you can change effects nowadays. It's just really different with the computers in there, but it's all basically the same idea, which is you modify something down to utter simplicity. You get like cartoon. You go to a more complicated, lot of gradation and textures and things like that, and then you get into comic books, and then you go past comic book into like realism. And I've never been into realism too much. I've always wanted to draw fantasy stuff. I even started out drawing fantasy stuff, so you can't really go wrong with any of it. You just got to feel out what you want to convey in your images. If you want to tell the story, or you want to be funny, or you want to be dark, there's certain elements you can change to make that happen, so that the page doesn't end up looking like a. You don't want Daffy Duck, or Donald Duck, or any kind of like furry animal that's really bright and cheerful in a horror comic. You want to change things up a bit and make it more horror related. So you would change, like use lots of pools of shadows, textures, camera angles, not a lot of wide or straight on. You would always use ways to make the character either in your face for close-ups for scary things. You can, you know, be looking up at them and it look more scary. There's certain techniques, but anyway, that's some things I've picked up. But I don't want to talk about what I can do or tell you about how much of a great artist and all this kind of stuff. I'm not here to set out to say I'm better than the next guy. I'm here to just tell you what I've learned through my experiences in drawing comics for magazines and what I draw for my own self-published works. So that's what I want to do, is I'm going to show you, not tell you, what I've learned. And I am not a master by any means. I'm always a student. So any kind of comments or suggestions you have, I'm open to improvement. Of course, I always rest on my opinion as well, so doesn't mean I'm not taking your advice if I don't redraw something. I'll just say, well, I'll remember that for my next adventure, you know. So I always take in whatever people are saying about my stuff and try to use it constructively. If you're not using it constructively, then you're wasting your time. So, nice to meet you, and hopefully you will enjoy my videos. Thank you.